Awesome. I'd like to hear that. Look, come on. Let's get some applause going. All right. Woo! Woo! So just a couple quick announcements before we get started here. First and foremost, we do have a microphone in the middle there, so if you want to ask questions, if these guys allow it, please use the microphone. Next, if we could just do no flash photography, please. Take as many pictures as you like, though, just without the flash. Next, with cell phones, if you could just turn off your ringers and put them on mute if you could. Also, if you get a phone call, if you could just please take it outside. Lastly, right now we are streaming live right now through all of our panels, including this one, on a website called FlipON.TV, excuse me. And we actually have a camera right there in the back right now. So if you get the chance, get on there and check it out. So I'm going to get out of the way so these guys can get started. Have a good con.
Actually, the part about the phone, not 100% true. Please pick up your phone, call your friends, ask them to hurry up here. We need to fill up the seats a little more. You know, we
in the program book, it says 605, 607, which is not what this is.
So for the live TV, our room is 605, 607, and it's packed right now. And everybody is sitting there going, when's the Dynamite panel coming on? So, anyway, all right. Lead balloons, baby. So,
don't quit your day job there,
I have to get a job first. Thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate it. So I know 6 o'clock, not the best time. Probably want to be in the bar. Am I allowed to say bar on TV?
I do.
I don't think that's one of the 7 words.
Not one of the 7? What are the 7?
Don't.
So let me do a quick introduction because these guys are the most important. What I'll say is this. Dynamite's success is 50% the creators, 50% the fans. So thank you guys for coming and thank you guys for supporting us. So appreciate it. I'll start to the right, move on to the left, no particular order.
By coincidence, by the way, the whole panel is 50% professionals, 50% audience.
Ouch.
Too soon.
Exactly. All of a sudden, I feel like the Oscars, you know. Lincoln got shot in the head, what, 150 years and it's too soon still? Like I said, lead balloons. We've got notepads. Please, somebody pass me jokes. Anyway, at the beginning on the right is Brandon Jerwa. He's currently writing Red Sonja, setting it up for someone else. He's writing Vampirella. He's written Battlestar Galactica for us. Brandon, give us the whole list.
The whole, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I currently have Vampirella and Red Sonja until Gale takes it away from me. Sorry. No, Battlestar Galactica.
She brought a sword, man.
What?
She brought a sword.
She brought a sword.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, joke's on you. I brought a human shield.
Careful what you say, mister.
Okay, so Highlander, Battlestar Galactica, Eva did a hack slash crossover for Tim Seeley. There was something else, right?
Xena.
I did the Army of Darkness Xena crossover, and yeah, I'm Mr. Dynamite.
There you go. And then, no, keep the claps going. We got to fill the time. Then we have Robert Napton. Robert started working on Battlestar Galactica for us. He's currently working on Deja Thoris, and he did Thunder, series that should have sold better. It was a really good book. Go ahead, man.
I did a couple of other of the Marz spin-offs, Fall Barsoom and More Heirs of Marz, and a pirate comic called Blackbeard.
There you go.
Yeah.
And a few things outside of Dynamite.
A few things outside of Dynamite.
Yeah. So next we have a living legend, someone I've known since I was a kid, which I remind him every once in a while.
He's old, basically.
Guys! Or I started really young.
You did start pretty young, dude.
Yep. The one, the only Matt Wagner. He's writing The Shadow for us. He's written Green Hornet. 30 issues on Zorro, 30 fantastic issues. So, and like I said, living legend. So let's give it up for Matt Wagner.
Yeah, basically, anytime Dynamite gets a property, there's a guy in a hat and a cloak. They Call Wagner.
So we got this new one coming out.
I know, you haven't offered me the spider yet.
It's still early in life.
There's still time.
And then we have Chris Roberson, the gentleman who... Now, the biggest claim to fame was Superman, right?
Well, it depends. Like, yes, let's say that.
Now, let's say
Yeah,
it's
how'd that go?
In mass market terms, yeah.
Let's say mass. No, seriously, Chris helped pull together something that was over 70 years in the making. First
And that was
person-
J. Michael Straczynski's scripts.
By the way, that guy sucks. Just to say.
This panel has no controversy going for it. So,
That is not a controversial statement. Everyone knows that JMS sucks. That guy's horrible.
and I'm supposed to be politically correct. So we've got a series called Masks. It's got all the greatest pulp characters. We've got the Shadow, the Spider, Green Hornet, Kato, Black Bat, Miss Fury, the Shadow, the Spider, Black Zorro,
And Zorro, yeah. Green Llama. Everyone's
Llama.
favorite Green Llama. Yeah.
Black Terror.
Kids love
Black
Green
Terror,
Llama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And he's working on the Shadow for us next, the ongoing series. And what else? You got
For you guys?
For us, for yourself.
Well, I run Monkey Brain Comics. I write things for different people. I've got a book coming out at Oni. First issue's at Free Comic Day called The Strangers. It's called The Strangers, which is a title that other people have used before, but no one has properly trademarked, so screw them.
Who's drawn?
It's being drawn by a guy named Scott Kowalchuk, who's Canadian, but I don't hold that against him. And but really, like, can I just say real quick one thing about Dynamite? Like,
Go for it.
When I first met these guys at a con bar a few years ago, I think the second words I said to Joe Ryband, who really does all the hard work, Nick just signs checks or something, was, why aren't I working for you yet? Because they had all the properties I wanted to do, and now I get to do them, and it's awesome. I'm writing. Basically, once Matt finishes with them, they can hand them off to me.
Matt took away the cloak. Do you want to try and put it back on? Is that it? Like Green Hornet, he lost his cape, he lost his hat. Can you put it back on?
Well, I'm not writing Green Hornet yet. So,
Yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yet.
Back
Nicely
off.
done. You have a subtle hand, Chris.
All right. Someone else? Great writer. We're very fortunate. Just announced her this weekend. Gail Simone, writing Red Sonja. Finally, a redheaded woman writing about a redheaded woman, and she carries her own sword.
Exactly, so you guys, be careful what questions you ask.
The big problem with this is when she goes to chop up Brandon Jerwa, I become collateral damage. I'm just in the way. The blood starts here.
Maybe it was aimed for you. I don't know.
Again. So, anything else you'd like to pimp?
Me? Well, Red Sonja will be coming out in July, and I'm so excited about it, you guys. This is such a fun character that I've always really, really liked, and I'm having so much fun writing that I'll say I'm taking a little break from like writing Batgirl or The Movement or some of the other projects, and I'm going to do a couple Red Sonja pages, and I look up and it's been like 12 pages. It's that fun to write that I lose track of how long I'm spending doing it. But it's going to be a really
Who's
fun
drawing, Gail?
book. Walter Giovanni, did I say that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And it looks gorgeous. I have a new villainous arch nemesis for Red Sonja, and he's designed her, and she looks incredible. And it's just really going to be badass.
And we had really one nice idea in just email corresponding, asked if, I think it was Nicola Scott, if she could do a cover, and
Yeah.
then we just started spitballing and saying, wouldn't it be cool to have all female covers? It was Gail's idea, and DC was very kind and allowed us to have Nicola Scott do 2 covers and Fiona Staples doing a cover, and it's just Becky,
Colleen Durant.
Colleen Durant, fantastic cover.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's great stuff, and we have more to be announced.
And it's so fun, too, because when we were contacting these female artists, Amanda Connor, too. as well,
Amanda
yeah,
Connor.
to find out that they're all like closet Red Sonja fans, so they're excited to be able to draw a cover for her, and that's really fun.
And you know, Walter's really just touching his feminine side when he's doing this. there's that extra plus. So we're keeping it all female centric. No. Then we have Mark Waid. Coming on to the Green Hornet after 5 years of asking him to work with us.
Pretty much, yeah.
Waiting while he was at Boom doing Irredeemable and Indestructible, and then he had a lot of Marvel commitments, and then finally he said, all right, Nick, I'll give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
I don't
finally.
want to regret this.
Yeah, I said, we've been wanting to work with Dynamite for a long, long time. Nick and I have been trying to work together for a long, long time, and the stars were not in alignment for the longest time. And he caught me at Baltimore last year as I was, and we were talking, and I remembered an idea for Green Hornet that I'd had been nursing for like 10 years in sort of my hip pocket. And I thought, well, wait, maybe is that a possibility as long as it doesn't throw Brandon Jerwa out of work, because we don't want to do that. So, no, but can we do? And so he made it happen, and this is all good. So I'm happy doing that. I'm having a great time doing it. The name of our artist, Daniel.
Daniel Lindro.
I didn't know how to pronounce the last name. So it's really nice stuff. Very happy doing it.
I think
Mark, which Green Hornet is it?
This is the 1940s Green Hornet.
The real one, in other words.
Yeah, the real Green Hornet. Yeah, the Britt Reed and Kato and really in their element back in the day, and following sort of the radio show continuity to some degree, following your Green Hornet, your one where you killed his dad. Thanks. And
Do you have something planned?
I'm saying, you're out of continuity, dude. It's not that's all right. You know what? I made it work. That's all right. Good. He's back from the dead.
He's a professional, people.
No, it's so spurring off a lot of you did like Matt did a Green Hornet Year 1 miniseries. What about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That really did a nice job of sort of setting up some of the stuff we've never really seen before, like how the secret headquarters work, and exactly what this device does and what the Hornet gun does and so forth, and a lot of emotional beats as well. And so I was able to pick up from that and run with that. And then now we're off to the races, and I'm really enjoying this book. So.
I think there's one more important thing to mention. Mark started Thrillbent, and honestly, right now, digital comics, it's an evolving medium, and one of the things that I really respect is that Mark is really trying to take that new medium and get a new audience and bring it in. He knows there's an audience out there. He's literally trying to help pave the road and working with a lot of really talented creators.
Thank you. And I've literally sold my comic book collection to fund it. So, thrillbent.com. Free comics.
did?
Come by.
Yeah, he really did.
You really did.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
I tried to buy his Neil Adams Superman cover. What was it, 255 with the kryptonite?
233. But that's it.
233.
And it's already gone.
I know, missed it.
I gotta
Had that?
Yeah.
When I get bored, I'll just go on YouTube and watch you pitching the various individual issues.
That's true, exactly. That's what I do. Yes, it's part of it. Yeah, if you go to YouTube, you can find me pitching the actual individual comics for sale, like a used car salesman. It's adorable. So,
It's cute. It's like a lemonade stand. It's the Mark Waid comic.
it really is, yeah.
And next we have Ron Marz, Mr. Crossover King. Worked on.
Congratulations. Finally, an epitaph.
That's damning me with faint praise. Right?
I don't know, man. You've got the Top Cow crossover, Architects. Am I getting it right?
Well, we actually call it artifacts, but maybe
Artifacts.
it's called something different by the time we get to the
Those people that are dyslexic like me can't read it right. You did Prophecy for Us, which was a really cool series, pulling together a lot of our characters for our first major crossover. The world didn't end, so the trade paperback will be coming out this year.
That's a plus.
Yeah. And what else?
Architects for Image. Oh, no, wait. We call it Artifacts.
Artifacts, right. The real name.
Artifacts for Top Cow. Shinku for Image. Stjepan Sejic, who I've done Witchblade and Artifacts for the last 7 years, I guess. We just did an OGN that was published Wednesday through Top Cow and Image called Ravine that they didn't print enough copies of. So if you want one, buy it soon. Because Eric Stevenson, will have to have his arms twisted to go back to press on it.
Digital copies available on Comixology.com.
Yeah, for a bargain rate. I'm doing a book with Israel Adonijah from the Chicago Bears called The Protectors, which will debut at C2E2, which is really cool. And he was just downstairs watching my table, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
I had the defensive lineman for the Chicago Bears watching my booth.
Is this free?
Not to you.
You should go ask Lou Ferrigno if anything's free.
But Lou couldn't hear you.
What, too soon?
Oh,
Too soon.
yeah,
Back
you
to
were,
too soon.
you were all thinking it.
And then we have Mark Ronner, up-and-coming writer, working for us on Deja and the Green Men of Mars.
Yeah, this is my second Deja Thoris miniseries, sort of a grindhouse version of Mars, and I just had out Vampirella New Blood, which is my third time putting Vampirella into another pop culture vampire world and just kind of urinating all over it. I've done a little Green Hornet, little Warlord of Mars, and Lord of the Jungle, aka Tarzan.
Sweet. And then we have Francesco Francavilla, the guy who's doing the most covers for Dynamite these days. In competition with Alex Ross for the most monthly Dynamite covers.
First, I was gonna say that for a month I'm gonna change my name to Francesca Francavilla so I can do a cover.
There you go.
You're going to have to change more than that, my friend.
Okay, I give up. But yeah, besides doing half of the covers, because the other half is Alex Ross, I'm doing Black Beetle Dark Horse.
Great series.
I'm writing and drawing it, and I should have a couple of issues Hawkeye at Marvel coming up, so keep myself busy, you know, that kind of stuff.
So, all right. So, and then did I see Eric Trautman walk in? Coming up?
Oh, he just wanted to make an entrance.
Exactly. He was standing outside saying, "Is everybody in yet?"
Don't screw around. Gail has a sword.
He has a note from his doctor, Jim Beam.
And the worst part is, like I said before, I'm collateral damage on the way to her hitting somebody on the right. So, Eric.
Gail never hits people on the right. Oh, wait, all the time.
Damn. Am I allowed to, is that one of the 7 words you can't say damn?
Yes, sir. It's been a long day. Okay.
Eric, as he reminded me, longest running uninterrupted writer on Red Sonja.
Unless somebody's found the wiki entry to contradict it, yeah. I guess the only other guy who's got more credits on the title right now, writing credits on the title than me is Oming, but he always had a plotter or co-writer. So,
Right.
Yay, I wrote more than Roy Thomas, which freaks me way out.
Imagine
And
how Roy
Flash-
Thomas feels.
Flash Gordon?
Flash Gordon, obviously I had done Vampirella for you for a couple of years, and are we talking about other stuff we're talking about yet?
Yeah. Talk about
Nick kindly asked me to pitch a series that I remember very fondly. I had a brief run at Topps back in the day. It's a Zorro spinoff called Lady Rawhide, so we're kind of figuring out if and what we're going to do with that, which seems like it might be a lot of fun.
It will be.
Yeah.
So I'm confident. All right, enough from here. I tried to make sure we had everybody get great time, but you guys got questions or how we want to do this?
Sure, there's some questions. You, sir. What would you like to know about Dynamite Comics? Yeah, sure.
He is now.
I am now.
Pick people at random in the audience.
Well, thank you. Well, the first series is 8 issues, 8-issue miniseries, and we've talked about doing more.
We have.
And there have been plans about doing more, and things have been plotted. Well, for me, like, so basically when I approach work for hire, basically like when I'm hired to write somebody else's characters, it is the exact same impulse that drove me at the age of 6, making up stories about things I liked. Except now people will pay me to do it. And as a fan of those things from childhood, it just made sense that those guys would bump into each other. I mean, they're all just like running around. And it's been a lot of fun to like kind of, because they all have hats and cloaks and twin 45s, but they're very different kind of characters, and so bouncing them off against each other.
I just loved in the first issue when you first see the shadow. That whole scene was just great to see how crazy the shadow is when you try and interact.
Well, it's been interesting to see the various partisans. Like, so when the shadow beats Kato, there were fans online who were really upset. Like, that shouldn't happen. Well, the Shadow, man, he's the Shadow.
Yeah, that group, he's Superman.
Yeah, so like Kato is badass, but I think the Shadow probably in a fair fight could take him. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's one of those who would win kind of things. Except I get to write it every month, and they publish it. So yeah, it's great.
Well, and Chris was saying 2 years ago how ran into a bar saying, "Why am I not working with you?" And just the other night in a bar, it's a running theme.
We're often in bars. It's
We're
weird.
often in bars. Sometimes not even in the same city and not at conventions.
Wait a minute.
So we were talking last night about this character that we both love that he pitched about a year and a half ago, and I said, we got to get to that. We have to get to that character. And I said, let's plan it out. Let's do it for next year. And Chris is like, well, thank God you said that, because I'm busy for the next year.
Yeah, it'll be cool. When we get around to it, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. So a lot of stuff gets planned out ahead. One of the things a lot of people don't realize, doing masks for a company like Dynamite or anybody outside of Marvel and DC, the Marvel and DC universe, that is a tapestry that's together, that's been together for years. So Marvel and DC, they want to do a crossover. Editorial agrees, creative agrees, they do it. Sometimes editorial just tells creative you're doing it.
I don't agree on anything.
Boy, have I got some stories to tell you.
The hard part for us was negotiating the deal. It took about 2 years because every single character is owned by a different company. So they all had to agree, and we really pushed it forward once we got to Shadow, because the Shadow really was the linchpin to it. He, like he said, he's the Superman of the group.
Actually,
I'm sorry?
Matt said that.
As Matt said, he's the Superman of the group, but a little bit more twisted. Like maniacal, manipulative, and will kick the shit out of you just because he thinks he should kick the shit out of you before you try and kick it out of him.
If you deserve it.
If you deserve it.
I mean, I will say that's an interesting thing about writing him. I'm sure Chris will attest to this too. There's a fine line there. He still has to be likable. He still has to be the hero, you know. And yeah, he has no trouble pulling that trigger, And after so long of working on characters like Batman or ones that have these codes against killing, it's kind of fun. He doesn't really have much of one of those,
It's funny. The first time we talked.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Joe gave me a good piece of news earlier of what you asked.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Announcing
you can announce it if you want. Sure.
I'm going to announce it. Yeah. So Matt's having a really good time on Shadow Year 1, and he's going to expand it from 8 to 10 issues, which is effing awesome.
I'm getting towards the end where I have to start making it a little bigger, and I realized, I don't want to squeeze stuff in and make it seem squishy, and I want to give stuff the room to breathe, especially as his war on this hidden supervillain that's in the story starts to come more to the forefront.
All right,
I know what he has planned, and it's awesome. Just so you know.
Yeah, they're working together because, as we said, Chris is going to be taking over the ongoing Shadow.
Joe said, have you seen Chris's scripts yet? So send me that.
All right, call to action. Somebody get to that microphone and ask a question. Come on, stand up, make it look like we're doing a good job.
I'll do it.
You with the legal pad. I know you're jotting down notes.
I'm taking notes. No, I was just curious. I'm going to ask a question for Gail. I'm looking forward to your Red Sonja as well. I was just curious because a lot of your books that I've read, which I all love, they have a very distinctive humor and sense of mainstream culture to them. Even your Diana, when you were doing Wonder Woman, kind of had that, and I was just wondering if it's a big switch to do Red Sonja, and if we're going to find any of that humor in there.
You're definitely going to find humor. I wouldn't say Red Sonja is funny herself, but she does have a couple of tomboy twins that feel that it's their duty to protect her at all times, as if she needed it, but they think she does. So there's going to be some humor there, and it's just the whole idea of Red Sonja is kind of humorous, just a whole huge barbarian story, and but and she's going to be set in the regular Robert E. Howard time and classic Sonja, the Sonja we all love. So it is a switch from that pop culture thing, but it's definitely going to have strong female character with some humor, lust, blood, maybe some severed heads.
Some more blood.
Yeah, some more, and some alcohol probably, and plagues, and just lots
Wait
of fun
for the
stuff.
opium there, Gail.
And that's just issue 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, you gotta
Terrific.
have another one.
Oh,
Come on.
sure.
Okay, this guy's.
It's all on you, man.
Go ahead, bud.
Yeah.
There he goes. There.
Don't let us down.
Wait, I have one question for Gail, though, while we start. Don't you find it unrealistic to have a woman wear a chainmail bikini? I mean, how can you write that? Oh, wait a minute, I've been reading too many posts.
I'm not the one wearing the chainmail bikini, so Red Sonja thinks it's fine. I think she'd be more uncomfortable in a formal dress, for instance.
There you go.
I've been really following some of the stuff you've put out over the years, and I was wondering if we would see anything from any of the Project Superpowers or Kirby Genesis universe.
Actually, you know what? The bottom line is yes, and this is always a question where I say it's coming, and a lot of fans are like, you've been saying that for 6 months, you've been saying that for a year. But the process, just like masks, like I said, it took us years to put that together, and not only putting the contract together, but then being fortunate enough to have the right creators on board. Right now, Kirby Genesis had a great story, but my excitement for it had us put out 2 spin-offs right away, and that hurt sales with retailers. And when we bring it back, I want to bring it back as solid as possible with as many sales as possible. So we're planning it, and it's just taking time. And Superpowers, what I'll say is this. There's at least 2 people on this panel, and I'll leave you guys guessing, that I've been talking about Superpowers for a while, as well as other creators, and we just want to make sure we bring it back right. Because it is a universe of characters. It's a universe we love, and with a little bit of luck, this is going to be our 3rd outing with it, and if we don't get it right this time, or if we don't make it as big as possible, we can't do it anymore. So it's got to be right, and it's taking time.
I always like to read the archives of Golden Age comics online, and when I was going through some of those, I was looking up some of the characters. I was like, well, somebody actually made a Black Terror comic like in the past 30 years?
No, thank you. Somebody else with a sword. You want to duke it out with
You
Gail?
and Gail go at it. There you go.
Answer my question.
Oh, nah, it's just not sharp enough.
Mine's sharp, I would win.
Out of all the comic book characters, who's your favorite?
Like ever?
I will say for me, being able to do the Shadow is kind of a dream come true. The Shadow was like the last of my childhood favorites that I did get to have my hands on in my long career. And so when Nick called me and said I had the Shadow, I was busy with something else, and it just killed me to say no to him. And then I got the space in my schedule, and now I'm just a happy little boy.
So basically, this is it for you. After this,
I'm quitting after this.
This is bucket list.
What happened to Mage 3? Wait, whoa. The one interesting thing when Matt did agree to do the Shadow is he was emailing me and saying, I'm buying all these pulps in San Diego Comic-Con. As much as he loves the Shadow, he did even more research when he...
Pulp facsimiles, I'm cheap.
But if anybody's got good ones and want to give them to him for free, I don't think I'll turn you down.
But that's an excuse. I mean, like, virtually every work for hire gig I've gotten is for some character I grew up obsessed with.
You have a bunch of them?
Oh, God. And then I use it as an excuse to go back and read all that stuff. I mean, the correct answer, of course, and it's Superman. The correct answer is the greatest character ever, Superman.
Yeah.
Or Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is awesome.
Part of the trifecta, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
I got to do this.
But
Yeah,
what
that's
happens
right.
if Batman comes up with a kryptonite batarang and slices Superman in half?
We can't do this, man. we just can't. We can't do this.
I'm going to answer it. It's because Superman and Batman are pals. It would never happen.
Right.
They're friends.
Also, I will add to that, heat vision trumps anything. If you can stand a mile in the air and use heat vision, you win the fight.
And unless the Flash is throwing that boomerang of kryptonite at Superman, I'm pretty sure super speed wins.
Hey, and not only that, there used to be, in the old days, there was always this, somebody would, instead of a batarang, what if somebody made a kryptonite bullet? and they would always explain it editorially that the kryptonite is not super hard in and of itself. It's its radioactivity that hurts him. It would crumble against his skin like anything else would. It's just a piece of rock.
Yeah.
You know,
Its radioactivity would affect.
Right.
We're gonna, Marz.
We know this, exactly.
I know,
Who
Marz
doesn't know that? What are they teaching you in school? I know.
To go back to the original question, my favorite comic character is Rom Space Knight.
Is what?
Rom Space Knight, yeah.
What? Why is that funny? That's the answer I wanted to hear. All right. No, I really do. If I could write Rom one time, I'd quit comics.
So let's all make that happen.
So if
What's your favorite character? Yeah,
Yeah, come on, everybody.
Come on.
Well, Superman is sort of the gold standard. That's one I always wanted to write. The odd
But
part.
you're not
was
enough of a
that-
homophobe to do it, so.
Say again?
But you're not enough of a homophobe to be able to be hired to do it. So.
Yeah, baby.
I love you, Mark.
I feel very close to you at this moment.
Hello,
Give Mark
CBR.
enough water and he'll say anything.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Superman is one I've always wanted. I would love to get my mitts on Nick Fury. That's right in my wheelhouse, and that's one I think I can do a good job with. The one that's
kind of an unusual. That's not one that a lot of people would list high up.
I do a lot of spy and military stuff. He's just so in my wheelhouse, and I love that character. And walking in the footsteps of Steranko, right? Like, how can I not want to do that? The one that surprised me that I never would have thought would be one of my favorite characters to write was Red Sonja. That was a complete surprise to me. Joe asked me to do 4 issues. 25 issues later, I was like, I could do 100 more if there was an opportunity to do so. I mean, she was a real surprise to me. I was not expecting that. That was a lot of fun, and it was a great opportunity.
Can I insert something parenthetically, because neither of these guys apparently will mention on their own, but Eric and Brandon just published yesterday a new title through Monkey Brain, which is my company, called Frost, and it's available for free on the internet on Comixology.
Yeah, I think we're the only 2 people on the panel right now who have both of their publishers on the panel with them.
I'll arm wrestle Nick. I could totally take him.
Finally,
Yeah,
they told everybody this is the room we're in. They got you back.
No, they're queuing up for whatever's next.
Robert, what about you?
I'd like to think I have a good Batman story in me. I'm not sure I do, but I'd like to think I do. That's the one I'd like to try.
We would publish Batman if we wouldn't get sued.
Let's do it.
We'll get attention. Gail?
I've been lucky enough to write a lot of my favorite characters, but the one that is one of my favorites that I haven't gotten to write yet is Captain Marvel in the Marvel family. I would love to be able to do that.
Mark?
Oh, please. It's a two-part answer. I mean, it's Superman.
Don't say Superman.
It's Superman. It's Superman. But if we're queuing a little closer to home, and this is something that Nikki and I maybe ought to talk about at some point, is I love the Lone Ranger. I've always loved the Lone Ranger.
Woo, that'd be awesome.
I agree with that.
I want to point out for the streaming audience that they finally realized what room we're in, and everyone's come over. So I want to thank you.
Sure they did, buddy. Sure they did.
We'll take it. Ron?
So wait. What Battlestar Galactica actor is in this room next? Anybody? No, never mind.
No.
I don't think it gets any better than Batman and Superman. To me, those are the twin pillars. But I would write Tarzan before either one of them.
Oh, interesting. There you go.
Tarzan, amazing. Me too with Tarzan.
Mark?
I always liked Batman and Daredevil because they didn't really have any superpowers, and they just relied a lot on nerve and brains and planning ahead. And if anybody could recommend a good Daredevil comic to me right now, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that.
Back off.
I also always liked the Phantom Stranger, and I always kind of wanted to take a crack at that too. And so I despise Dan DiDio at the moment.
Okay.
For doing that.
Francesco, hurry.
Well, Batman check, Zorro down, Shadow, pretty.
All the characters you got to draw.
Yeah.
So you're done.
Well, no.
Hey.
Get out.
Black Beetle.
There you go.
There you go.
I'll be the lone wolf. I'll go for Barry Allen Flash, Hal Jordan Green Lantern, Daredevil, and Submariner. Best comic ever, Daredevil #7.
That's a great comic. Daredevil versus Submariner.
Yeah.
Really good.
So about the kryptonite bullet, you know, that story is so good that there's a senator in Philadelphia that when JFK got shot, he said, you know, there's a magic bullet. One bullet just hit everybody.
That's true.
That one went over a lead balloon too. It's like,
I sense a pattern developing.
there you go. More people not to laugh. All right, so next question. Go
Excellent.
for it, yeah.
Hey, my dad tells me that you guys like write a lot of old heroes.
Yep.
I want to.
Pretty much exclusively, yes. Pretty much characters who were around before your grandfather was born. Yes, that's our foundation.
They're all older than SpongeBob.
So you got mine.
If I wanted to start reading those, what should I start with?
Ooh, that's a
Are you
good
a paid
question.
shill? That's awesome. That's great.
Awesome question.
Come by at the Dynamite booth. They have tons of what they're calling their starters. The first issues of these various characters, first editions of the trade collections. They brought all stuff that's a good spot for somebody like yourself to jump on.
I have a better one for you because you got the best question of the panel, the sincerest, and you're the youngest guy here as far as I can tell. When you stop by the Dynamite booth, say, Nick said, outside of the boys, I can have any book I want free.
Yeah.
This way, you could try any book you want free.
And wait,
There you go, man.
wait. Yeah, nice. And actually, I have a question. I have a question for you. That's a really cool costume. Who are you? Who are you?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us. All right, wait. Tell us.
Hey,
What,
no. Who are you? What? Tell us.
Come on up here. Come on up here.
Yeah, you're good. Because already you're more creative than half the people up here, and that's
What's your character's name, man?
My character's name is Gross Guy, and you know,
Hero or villain?
he is a hero, but some people think he's like weird, and some people think he's like not a hero.
like
but
me.
Yeah.
All right.
But he is a hero, and he defeats, as you would kind of expect, clean villains.
By what? Making them gross?
Kind of. One of the main ones was Soap Man.
Curse you, Soap Man.
Chris is going, wow, that's a good idea.
I'm taking notes.
I don't
I think
know.
he needs to talk to Nick.
I'm calling tips on the covers, by the way.
So what are your powers?
I'm kind of like Batman. I don't have powers. I use different
Gross
tools.
stuff.
Yes.
Do you have like a special weapon that shoots out like disgusting things?
The
Yeah,
snot
probably,
around.
like banana peels.
Oh.
Banana peels are good.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Copyrighted.
1802, GG gets whatever he wants
He's
except the
awesome.
boys.
I cannot wait to a few years from now you play young Patton Oswalt in a movie. Great.
In 12 years, he's going to take revenge against Nick Barucci. It'll be like, grow up and
Yeah,
be
you
like.
will be grossed.
Exactly. I will be grossed. Banana peels will be. Nah. All right, who's next? Come on. Let's get a few more.
Yeah, top that.
Yeah, seriously. Nobody's going to follow that.
Hi.
We got somebody.
No way out. I have a tiny bladder and it's full.
Thank you for sharing that information on the microphone.
All right, so you guys, you can do a lot of cool like older characters that you acquire and stuff. Is there anything like different you might be doing in the near future that we haven't heard about yet? On like random characters, I'm talking about like Ash
Nick
Williams.
actually found a bunch of characters from the 1700s.
Oh.
That we.
Scarlet Pimpernel #1.
Yeah. Look for the Gray Seal coming up soon from Dynamite.
You know, I think some of the things that we've actually signed some new projects that we haven't announced yet or can't announce yet. I think some.
Were they created in this century? I love these
No.
properties.
Last century, no matter what, it's last
Exactly,
century.
true, exactly. Yeah. I think this. I kid, but I think that what Nick has done with, like, taking these iconic characters that are, not as familiar as Superman and Batman to a modern audience, but giving them that same sort of jolt of energy and making them, relevant in the 21st century, I think is a real accomplishment.
Well, and also having your finger on the pulse of the fact that there is a market out there for people wanting more tales of these characters.
Yeah.
And a new approach to them.
And hiring super talented people. To
Amen,
do it.
No, actually, the one thing I would add is in being able to bring the characters back, it really comes down to the creators who come on board. There, on a lot of characters, there has been a pent-up demand for creators to work on them. Yourself on the Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Matt on Zorro, Green Hornet, The Shadow, all the creators that make the stories work. We could get all the characters in the world, and if we don't get the right people on them, they'll suck. So it won't matter. They'll go back into hibernation. Nobody will care for another 12 or 15 years. So being fortunate, working with talented creators on great characters, that's really what makes it work. I mean, if you ask what my dream projects are, Barry Allen Flash, Hal Jordan Green Lantern, Matt Murdock Daredevil, and Submariner.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Well, I want to give you guys credit, and this is not something I think that people are aware of too much, and I'm sure every person on this panel would say this, is that Nick and Joe, our editor, that's Joe, the editor, trying hard not to, don't look around like you're not him.
Don't encourage him.
Anyway, they actually let us write the damn books. They
a
get
lot
the
of creative freedom.
they
and
get
that
the people
really
to
is
they want to work on the books, and then they let us actually do that, and that's amazing.
Well, I'll add one thing to that because I know you got another question. Is it's easy to let the creators have so much freedom when you trust the people. The reason why we work with them is because we trust them. So makes it a lot easier.
For sure. And are we going to see much in the future from Army of Darkness at all?
We have a super cool announcement for Army of Darkness. It's either going to happen around C2E2 or San Diego.
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, it is going to surprise people. So, super cool announcement. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Last question, or are we calling it a night?
Oh, come on. Who else have we not offended yet? Come on. It's
Good. We've got one last guy here.
One more.
There we go.
One brave soul.
Make it a good one.
So you mentioned you have characters that have been in hibernation. Are there any among you that you wish you could bring back to life that either you don't think there's a market for right now, but you'd like to see brought back at some point?
Superman.
We're done. That was the last answer.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, for me it was the Shadow. So the fact that I'm getting to do that is pretty awesome.
It's still Rome Space Knight for me.
I'm not going to say, because there was one license that I threatened bodily. I didn't threaten bodily harm. I said I would fight anybody else that tried to get it. So if they did get this license, if anyone else wanted to write it, I would fist fight them or arm wrestle them. So there's tons. Because honestly, these guys are great. I would, I'm not going to talk about Superman anymore. Like I told you one time that I was sure that one day you guys are going to license Superman and do a great job. But it's going to happen eventually. Anyway. Yes.
Weirder things, right?
Yeah. It's going to happen.
All right. Anybody else?
There's one character. Who's heard of the Avenger? A 1940s character, right alongside Doc Savage by, quote, Kenneth Roberson. That's somebody who I always thought was sort of conspicuously absent from the roster, but I guess, I don't know what the rights issues are with it or what, but I would love to see an Avengers comic. DC, I think, did about 4 issues of an Avengers comic back in the 70s, and did Kirby draw those?
Yeah.
Wasn't crazy about those. I've always wanted to see those done right. Again, not a superhero. His main power was that his face was frozen. He could mold it into anybody else's face, and when he got punched, it would leave the impression of the other guy's fist in his face. So, not the most thrilling superhero of all time. But I would like to see that guy.
think that's it. Jeez, everybody, thank you.